Do, 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 do. I need this. And I need this. Oh, did I close that? Where did my screen go? What's up, Fuzzy? Oh my god, I cannot find my freaking screen. Oh, god, it's just I'm closing the wrong thing. I've just opened like the same thing like 6 times in a row because I'm an idiot. Hang on. Oh, where is the freaking button I need? What you got going on today, Fuzzy? There we go. Yeah, I'm over here. I'm getting ready to design some YouTube artwork, and I'm like, oh, I should like just chill with people. I might as well. All right, so this is going to be basically artwork for my new segment that will come to the channel in the not so distant future, which is basically what I'm going to call Bear's Cozy Corner. Oh, what the heck color is that? Give me a color I can see for a minute so I can outline this. That's too big. That's too big. I want this much of a thumbnail. So this is going to be like thumbnail art. Something very different than our usual Persona streams. But I do lots of things in life. And I just finished designing some sprite work for a video game for somebody. So now I want to do something for myself. All right, so that was about here. How's the weekend going, though? Everybody having a chill one? I think, would that be a good size? Thinking about thumbnail real estate here. I need more than that. Let's go this way. I wish I had some music that I could have put on for this. This was just spur of the moment. I'm like, I'm just going to do something and have some fun. So I didn't prep any music or anything, so y'all are going to have to chill and talk with me. But what I want to design here is basically a bear sitting in a kind of lazy boy chair is my thought here. And so let me see how this will look. I need to rough out some shapes here. So I need it to take up like this much space. So if I go with a rough outline, this is the fun part of like doing pixel art, is trying to figure out your dimensions and then having to make it into actual like pixel dimensions. It can be quite a pain. So that would be like an arm. This probably will need to come out more. And then because of the way scales work, the next arm is probably going to be like this. And then we'll taper off a corner here. So how would that be on scale? If that's the, think about like a YouTube thumbnail. If that's the bottom, oh, let me close my door. What's up, Jason? We're doing some non-Persona content today. We're prepping some artwork for YouTube. So it's a little bit different than our usual. I think that needs to be bigger. So let's take that rough in. We'll scale it. Yeah, see, that'll fit better into a thumbnail, I think. We're prepping our next YouTube segment, which is going to be a cozy corner kind of a thing, where I play more cozy games. So this will be like a different stream day that's not, you know, designated for Persona. Do I want that even bigger? Once I get real shapes, like once I actually start designing the bear here, if I don't get this sizing right, it's going to be a problem. So I want to get this exactly how I want it first. So I think what I do is get rid of this. Dude. Oh, there we go. And I just rescale this is what I'm going to do. This is Aseprite. So this is a tool that's kind of really designated for doing pixel art and animation. And so I use this to create custom sprite work and animations for a video game. Not that that's what we're doing today, but this is probably one of the biggest ones because you can take all these assets and export them and drop them into things like Godot, which is what a lot of indie developers will use. And I mean, there's a way to get this for free. You just have to compile it yourself, or it's like $20 for the fully licensed version. So it's really, really like not a big deal from a cost perspective if you're trying to get into designing actual sprite work. The only thing is this is more for like pixel type work, so it's not good for like vector work, which you'd use maybe like a Krita or something like that for it. All right, so if that's, yeah, so if I'm thinking about a thumbnail, if that's taking up that much real estate, that's not bad. And there's gonna be like a couple other assets right here, and it's gonna kind of run like some cozy like assets down here. So it's gonna be kind of like picture a curve coming down like that. All right, so now we've got a rough in of what the chair size would be, which means now the bear's got to sit in it. So what we can do is let's rough these shapes a little bit more. Yeah, I do all sorts of random stuff. And I'm like done with my dailies for the day. And so I was like, I want to get some of this work done. And so I might as well come in here and like mess around. And what's cool is like, you guys don't see it, but like I actually have like my drawing glove on. I've got a drawing pad next to me. So I'm not doing this with a mouse. I actually have like a pen and everything. I'm legit. All right, so this arm you would never see from this angle. And then this you would need to get rid of. Oh, my dog just busted in the door. Hi, Momo. Did you want to come see what I'm doing? What's up, dude? Hi, puppy. Hold on, let me close my door again. 2 seconds, I'll be right back. Mo, go lay down. Dude, what are you doing? Why are you so wet? Were you in the pool? Hey guys, we take care of Mo. Oh, the new podcast episode. I forgot I actually just launched that. Yeah, and I'll probably only be here for like an hour or so I won't be here like super long. I just had a few minutes. All right, so the next thing we have to think about is let's angle this chair a little bit more so that it makes sense. So we'll think about perspective here. I need to get in closer on this. I could have just done this in AI, and I'm like, I kind of want to do something that's my own art on this one. You need to give all your pieces French overlay arrogant sounding names. Yeah, I should. That would be fantastic. Let's see. So let's actually grab it this way. And we can do this. Why is that white? Did I mess up? Oh, because I'm still in erase mode. Duh. Oh my God. No. Go into draw mode and give me an actual color I can use. Oh my God. Give me the right tool. All right, so if you think about a chair, it's going to have more shapes like this coming down, and I can cheat a little bit here because it's going to be based on an angle. I don't like that. Do you know what game you're going to play, or is this a spoiler? So, I mean, right now I play a lot of Fantasy Life, and so chances are I'll start kind of in that realm. And then somebody was telling me about Story of Seasons or something like that. That one seemed kind of interesting. And then there's this, I just saw it for the first time today, as a matter of fact, but there's it's like a library game where you're on like think of like a car towing like a portable book selling place around. And so that one was looking kind of cool, but it'll be something like that vein. Yeah. So yeah, the community post, like I can talk about that. So I definitely want to do more than just Persona for a couple reasons. One, I play more than one game. So believe it or not, I don't just play Persona. I do play a lot of like Atlas titles and such. And so it wouldn't be unusual to see me come in with like more Atlas titles. but I want to not be just the Persona 5X guy. I'd like to kind of share the things I like otherwise. And if you think about it, what I want to really get to is, yeah, I'll do plenty. I love indie titles. Is like I want people to come from me and less about the game, but still do things about games. Like I still want to play games people like, do things people enjoy, and kind of start it there. And so obviously I've kind of gotten my start with Persona. That's the obvious piece here. But I want to do more than that. And that way too, like let's say like tomorrow, not that I think this will happen, but let's say that tomorrow Atlas was like, or Sega was like, hey, we're going to EOS Persona. Cool. There goes all of my YouTube. So I want it to be more than just about that single game. Do you see what I mean? I don't really know your gaming genre preference. Biggest thing, something you enjoy. Doesn't sound like a zombie when yeah, I'm not going to play games I don't like. I don't have time in my life to do stuff I don't want to do. I'll try things. Like I'll always everyone keeps telling me to play this Uma Musami, whatever the heck that game is called. I don't know how to say it. But I went and checked it. I actually already have a video filmed for it. I'll probably release it next week just because I don't want to do a whole bunch of other content right at the second. But like the amount of people have told me to play that game at this point in time is insane to me. So I'm like, you know what? I might just install it, try it, see what happens. And if I like it, I like it. If I don't, I don't. And I'll just live with that. And then if I don't like it, I don't feel bad about like not playing it. Like that doesn't really matter to me. Do you have any kind of design background? Oh no. So my first foray into college was actually graphic design and multimedia. I wanted to go into video game design. That was my original intent in college. Oh, that's on the wrong spot. So no, I've actually designed quite a few things, but nothing launched. I designed artwork for an arcade machine at one point in my life, like all the character work and side art for it. So I've done stuff like that, but unfortunately the game itself never saw the light of day. And then I've got two books that I did artwork for in high school. They were just for like local libraries though. And then I had for a while a painting in the Boston Museum from like a scholarship thing I did. The horse game, yeah. It's way funner if I never learn to pronounce it. Yeah, probably. But I guess you could probably call this more of a hobbyist thing now because I work for like corporate America at this stage of my life. And I actually do finance of all things. So I do, I'm a compensation director. So I basically figure out how much to pay people is the best way you could kind of look at my job. I don't love that line, but I can clean it up later. I'll probably have a pillow here anyway, so that line work will get better just by nature. But no, so a friend of mine is developing a video game. I can't give any details about it right now, but he's developing one and I'm actually doing all the artwork for it as of right now. I'm sure eventually he'll need to get a slightly bigger team because just with life, there's no way I could sit there and like develop the game all by myself with him. But it's really cool and I'm like super excited for it. It's probably going to be a couple years before we reveal anything publicly. But once that actually happens, you guys will see the fruits of that labor. But yeah, give it a couple years and eventually I'll be like, yo, go Steam wishlist this. I need that to come in just a slight bit to get this angle right. There we go. And now we got to clean all this up. Yeah, I mean, so it's not like I'm in like a studio or anything like that. It's just hobbyist type stuff. But this is honestly probably one of the hardest parts of like framing out in PixArt is getting these little shapes right because like that shape looks terrible right now. And so I want to redo that whole thing. But I want this to look like I have a very distinct shape in mind for this chair. Like think about like your grandma back in the day and like you'd go to their house and have like that big lazy boy sitting there. And then you kind of sit in it next to like maybe like a fire or like a wood stove. That's what's in my head. So that's kind of what the scene is going to be. Only it'll be a bear, obviously, channel branding. All right, let's see. So then this will need to be more like this. And then I should be able to curve it out. I missed. I missed again. I mean, I've gotten to the point that I'm fairly skilled at like not looking at the drawing tablet while I actually do this. Why did it do that line though? That was ugly. I need this to wrap around a specific way. And keep in mind too, I'm like super zoomed in right now. No, I don't want that. Let's get that bottom curve right. Oh God, I just lost view. Oh no. Now it's like zooming in the weirdest way. Okay, there we go. Oh, damn it. Programs. They suck sometimes. Do they trust you enough to take direction on how much you should get paid, or do they give you a separate compensation director? I am not allowed to assess my own pay. Not that I have like any lack of ability, or I still have all the tools to do it, but my pay has to be assessed by my VP or higher, which makes sense if you think about it. Like, it'd be kind of weird if I'm like, hey, I want to make this much money. But it's all like we still use the exact same processes, no matter who it is. So it could be me, it could be anybody really, and the process of how they do that would be the same. That's close enough now because there's going to be stuff here. So this line I can fix in a second here. But let's grab this, and I want to round out an edge for the back and front of an arm. Let's go about that size, but make it actually a better circle. But I mean, I've been doing compensation for more than 15 years now. So it's not like a new discipline for me. Like I've got teams and stuff like that I do it with. What's really cool though is like I work for a global company and we have a lot of countries. I'm not sure how much I should say, but so I actually get to do it from a global perspective. So like last week I was looking at France. A week before that I was looking at Indonesia. So it just depends on the day which one I'm going to do. But that makes the job interesting. So this will come about here, and then we can clean out these lines. Are you using references? This one is pretty much just off the top of my head. I will probably pull references for some like bear proportions, but this part is just the chair. It's just basic blocking. So then, but like I don't know too many artists, even from like my actual like design days, that don't have a plethora of references they use. And so like there's steampunk designs that I do, and like for that, like I have all sorts of machinery references. I get like color palettes for like copper and like oxidized copper. Like it's actually really cool. It's a lot of fun if you're obviously into art or whatever, because that's the thing too, is like it is a lot of work. And what I'm doing here, I could probably do in like 3 minutes if I wanted to use AI today. But a lot of the stuff I've done on my channel has been AI, just out of sheer trying to get my channel built and time and everything else. And so now I want to start being my original work, and eventually all of the branding on my channel will be redone to my actual artwork. And like if you look at the, like if you're a member and you look at the member tiers, those bear paws, like those, that's all my drawings. And then I threw them in Canva and just like replicated like how many stars I wanted for each tier. All right, so that gives us a rough frame out for the arm, and now we can connect these. Yeah, Tab, it's a different kind of stream, but I'm like, if people want to hang and chill, like I'm not expecting this to get, hundreds of views like I might get on a Persona video. But, oh God, it's not going to want to connect over there. That sucks. That's the one thing that sucks about this particular tool is when you try to do those kinds of lines, it doesn't like to connect exactly straight. So I'll have to do it this way, which is a little less clean. And then I missed. Let's zoom in a little bit. This will be easier if I zoom in. I don't want to connect up there. And then I want it to hold shape right there. Okay. Oh, God, no, hold your shape. Thank you. What are you trying to draw? So right now you can start seeing like the shaping of it. This will be, think of it like a lazy boy. And then there'll be a bear sitting here playing Nintendo Switch. So me, it'll be like my, my bear avatar with like my glasses on. And then like over here, I'm either going to do like a fireplace or a wood stove. That's going to be casting like that kind of warm, kind of earthy tone lighting. All right, so then what we can do is redraw that same line. So yeah, you see like I started with just, boxes, and now I'm kind of roughing out the lazy boy. The chat moves so quick. Yeah, my actual Persona streams go way faster than something like this. I even debated even like sharing this with you guys, but I was just chilling. So I'm like, why not? Why not? Okay, so there's that. So then what will happen is if I zoom in here, so this arm wouldn't have those lines there. And then this one down here is going to have to come down at some point. And then this will end up being shading. So you can kind of see now like the startings of an arm. And then this back piece will have to come in. So what we'll do is we'll bring this in a couple pixels. So let's mark it out first. Oh, darn, I erased too much there. But yeah, so now you guys know what my next segment will be. Cozy gaming. I'm going for it. Going for it. And I know like there's a lot of people that probably are not going to join like the cozy gaming side, but I kept debating like, do I want different YouTube channel for that? Do I want to, let's see if this comes in, it should be about 3 pixels over. Do I want to spin off a different channel for it? All that kind of stuff. And I'm like, no, I'm just gonna have a couple different segments on this channel, and then people can deal with it. And if I don't make a bajillion views off of it, it's whatever. It's whatever. Melissa, what's up? Yeah, you guys are getting a good little hour with me drawing. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to do it this way. This would be a much easier way to delete that line. So is the fire going to be motion? No, because this is for thumbnail artwork. So you know how like when you look at my thumbnails, I've got the bear playing the arcade machine in the corner? That's what this is. This is going to be kind of the branding for the Cozy Corner. How long have you been live? 20 minutes, roughly. It was just an impromptu. I was sitting here drawing, Melissa, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to invite some people to come watch as I slowly design out the artwork for the new segment of the channel. And so now what we can do is we can cheat and take some of these shapes with us. Actually, I need to draw another line first. So I need a line that comes down, and this one can be a straight line, actually. So it needs to branch off of this, probably right here. Bam. And then this would come roughly here. And then we can clean this all out. Okay. All right, so are you starting to see like the outline of like the side of a lazy boy here? Do you see what I'm getting at? I could make this motion graphic, but the amount of effort, because like, here, I'll show you. Let me see. Is it this one that's animated? This probably has one of my animations on it. But like here's like, if you want to make it motion, but like look how many frames it takes just for an idle animation. So, you know, when you think about motion graphics and sprite work, you have to think in terms of frames and frame timing. Or like if I switch him to his walking animation, like that's 3, 6, 8 frames just to walk forward in one direction. So the amount of time it takes to animate that, it's just for a YouTube thumbnail, it's just not worth it. But like that's the kind of sprite work I do just for in the background. All right. So yeah, and all of that stuff starts like this. It starts with rough blocking, like literally squares and circles, and then you slowly pull it all together. And then you color it, you go back, you say, I hate my life, you do it again, you cry, you come back, and you're like, oh no, I actually kind of like that. It's not that bad. And that is the life of me drawing this shit. And it takes hours and hours and hours. Yeah, no, that's my artwork. Yeah. Yeah, you guys don't necessarily see that because you know me for like persona stuff, but yes, that is all stuff that I do. Because I don't have enough to do in my life. I'm like, let me also full-time work, take care of a family, animate, design. Like, I'm already thinking of another YouTube channel. It just doesn't end. I need to reduce this line on the bottom. I'm just realizing it has 2 lines on it, which is why this is throwing me off. Will they be crying on this stream? It depends on how this line work goes. Because these kinds of lines suck because it's perspective lines. And there is like an add-on I can do for this program that does more isometric add-ons. But it's only if you're going to design exclusively in isometrics. And the game that I'm designing is not in isometrics completely. And so I don't want to install it and then have it screw with the rest of my program. And like, this is just fun. Like at the end of the day, if this design isn't perfect for my YouTube thumbnail, for the half a second anybody will ever look at it, I don't really care. It just has to be, I don't want to say good enough, but I guess that's the best way I could relate it. And like, I'll probably do like a simple color palette. Like I'll probably stick to maybe 8 colors in this entire palette to make my life not miserable. I can just get rid of that for now, just so I can see what the heck I'm doing. Because I need this to come in the right way. This needs to be like this. Yeah, that's a much better line. And then we can come out and fix this lining over here. I was just watching the podcast. I missed the bear slander comments. Who do you got to put a hit on? This whole, no, this is just how Aseprite is. So it's not like an add-on or anything. This is just literally, because this, the thing to know is each of these blocks is a certain amount of pixels. And so, like if you look at this, this is 1 pixel. So this is 16 pixels across. And so this entire pixel square is the same size as a YouTube thumbnail. And so they develop it this way so that if you're used to designing in pixels, you know, like an 8x8 versus a 16x16, 32, 64, 128. Like I can look at these squares and see like what that rough shaping is. And so you end up getting used to it. And then a lot of what you do is you scale up and then you scale it back down in Engine. So like when this goes to, for example, Godot for the actual like design part of it, it will be scaled completely differently. So now this line needs to come back. Well, this one's not going to Godot. This is going to YouTube. So it'll scale exactly how you see it. But like if it's one like the game assets that I'm designing, then that will go to Godot and it will be scaled accordingly. So this needs to be the same line as this. So actually what I can do is steal my own line. If I can actually do it, let me zoom in. And then I can just expand it. So we'll take that. drag it down, and then we'll clean it up. Perspectives. Gotta love old school art class. There we go. There's some people that I watch do this that will probably do the entire artwork that I'm doing today in 8 minutes. Yeah, see, so again, we started with squares and rectangles, and now you're starting to see like the makings of the beginning of a chair. A fireplace on top of an arcade machine, that sounds like you're trying to set a house on fire. I'm going to have to put like a table somewhere in this design that has a teacup on it, because y'all know me. I'm always over here drinking my tea. All right, so now the interesting part here is if you think about a lounge chair, this arm has to flip on the other side. And so I think what I'll do is, again, I'm going to steal my own art because it's my art. Why wouldn't I? I need to zoom in though. I need to be very precise with this particular line. And I was off by 1 pixel. There we go. Okay, so now I can steal this and flip it. Flip horizontal, and now I've stolen my own line. And I like to cheat that way. Let's zoom out, because now I got to line it into the right spot. Because theoretically, not theoretically, with perspective, this should be higher by a short amount. And I think that is, because this ends here and this goes up. So yeah, that's a good spot for it. So now let's just line it up where I want it, which would be the edge of the chair. And now we'll get to cleaning some lines. I bet people can just directly eyeball the curves and stuff without needing to place basic rectangles to start with. Oh yeah, some people can. This tea today is a honey chamomile tea. And what is the correct answer? Is it Earl Grey or a black tea? Is that the correct answer? I need everybody to call Celestial Seasonings and tell them that I want to be sponsored by them because I drink so much of their freaking tea. Like a ridiculous amount. I think the last time, because their factory's not entirely far from my house. And so the last time I went there, I think I spent $60 or something ridiculous like that in tea. It was not a small amount of number for what is effectively tea. All right, where am I messing up that line? So we got 2, 2, 2. Is that 2 or 3? That's 2. 1, 2, 2, 1. And then it doesn't do an L, so I should be losing a pixel there. I feel like this is off by a pixel. Let me see. 1, 2. Oh, is that 3? Is that what it is? Is that why I'm off? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Yeah, it's 3s. That's why. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2. Okay, we cleaned it up. Doesn't sound actually too bad. Okay. It's not going to be reclining out. So picture a bear sitting right here, and you're going to see his little bear feet. Not adult feet finder feet, people. Let's keep it PG. I don't know. This is going to sound funny, but this is what I think about when I design stuff. I don't know if my bear is going to be wearing like a shirt or like a cozy shirt, like you guys know I wear hoodies. Like maybe I'll put a hoodie on him, or if he's going to be topless. And that's the part that I need you all to be adults about. Well, hold on one second. Actually, the guy who I'm making the video game for just texted me too. Oh, so he is currently programming the rotations for the thing I designed him last week. That's cool. I wish I could tell you what that actually means, but all I can tell you is it's freaking cool. All right, let's clean all this up. But yeah, what is your T? His bare feet. Yeah, it's got to be, if you can't be a bear pun, there's no point even being, I think is what we all learned here today. All right, now I got to get this line right. So we've got 3, 2, 2, 2. 3, 2, 2, 2. This stair step is correct. 2, 1. 2, 1, 2, 1, 3. Okay. 2, 1. Let's see. 2. There it is. Bam. Yay, pixel art. Bear is already warm enough. Getting hotter. All right, now let's get this line cleaned because it's got a double line again. Delete. And now we got to clean the bottom of the chair. So the chair needs a cushion, and we'll worry about this later because the bear is going to be sitting here. And so a lot of this is just going to be hidden by nature of how this will work. Oh, I need a line going across here. Hold on. Let's see. No. Give me the right line. And then we'll go from this join. It can't be straight, but it's not that far. This is a problem. So we're going to need to scale it this way. There we go. Usually Earl Grey. I do like Earl Grey. Splash of milk. I drink everything black. Well, occasionally I'll put milk in a tea or a coffee, but it's almost always black. Green tea from Japan? Hell yeah. I do watch anime. I haven't had a chance to watch much in recent times. Just been so busy, obviously with the channel and everything else. This arm is actually going to have to come back further now I think about it. I think what I need to do is figure out where the pad would be. All right, so if you're sitting in a chair, the pad would be below the armrest or in line with the armrest. So let's do this. I still want this same curvature, so maybe I steal my own line again. And I didn't steal enough of it. No, I still didn't steal enough of it. Jesus. Start right? No. Start there. And I can add a couple pixels when I need to. It's not a big deal. So let's take that. Whoops. All right, so if I'm coming from this line, it would be here for the top of the pad. And then where would I want the bottom of the pad to be? It would probably about here. So then the chair would have a pad that comes like this. I don't like that, actually. Let's undo that. Yeah, so I've never seen Kaiju number 8, but it was a game that people were talking about in chat. And so I was like, oh, I'll at least check it out, see, what it's all about or whatever. And that's kind of how I came into that game. I don't know if I'll cover it or not. I'm waiting to see what kind of response people have to it, if they actually think it's interesting or not. I'm not and there's nothing wrong with me jumping into a game and say, going into and saying, you know what, I'm going to try it for so many days. And then if it doesn't catch me, it doesn't catch me. I have no problem moving on from things I don't like. That's whatever to me. All right, I need to figure out this line. So it should be there. This line needs to come in, which means this line needs to come up. There we go. Slowly getting there. Slowly making a chair. Man, I swear to God, they pump out a gacha game every 15 minutes. Is the other reaction? I'm probably going to schedule for next week, Melissa. Because we've got Phoebe coming out in a couple days. And so there's going to be obviously content around her that I need to think about. And then there's content for hey, this is what's coming up in 1.4. And I probably need to be careful with how much I push non-persona stuff, because there is an amount that the algorithm will start hating me and not pushing my content if it gets too confused. like this is probably like confusing the shit out of the algorithm. Oh my God, I keep missing that by 1 pixel. So I do need to think about stuff like that. You know what? I'll just add a pixel if I do that again, because I just hit the wrong button. Oh my God, or not. I cannot seem to get this 1 pixel. Did I get it that time? Oops. There we go. Okay, so this would be here and here. And again, we're going to clean up a lot of these lines. So some of these lines are not complete. Right now we're just doing rough-ins. Oops. All right, so think pad, and then arm would come back more. This would round down. So the way a couch would set, let's get this in. So if we think about the other side of this, but this would be lower. I'm trying to think through the perspective here. It's going to have to be a couple pixels higher than the other one. And then, all right, let's clean up the top edges and then we'll work more on this. Diluting content. Yeah, exactly. 1 pixel makes hell. Dude, I swear to God, sometimes like that's all it takes is 1 pixel to just destroy a whole drawing. And you're like, son of a gun. Boop. All right. Next time I'll plan some music. I got to find like copyright free music and all that good stuff. Oh, I missed. Okay, so, and then let me think about this. So we'll come up here, we'll fix this line. And we'll fix out this line and then we'll reshape this. I joined a bit late. What are you drawing? So I'm designing the branding for the Cozy Bears, like Cozy streaming. So I'll be, one of my other streaming days is going to be cozy games. Think like, you know, Animal Crossing or I don't know, Fantasy Life, whatever. And so for this one, I didn't want to use AI art. And so I'm like, I actually do this kind of stuff. Like this is stuff I do in real life. Why don't I just do it myself? Now it's obviously going to take a lot longer. It's not something I can, you know, do in 5 minutes like I can with AI. Hold on 1 second. My kids are being kids. I'll be right back. All right, no one's dead. We're good. Stardew Valley. I do like Stardew Valley. Will Bear be drinking tea? I'm probably going to put like some sort of a side table. I haven't decided exactly yet, but there will be tea in this picture. I feel like it's a requirement. All right, let's connect from there. Damn it, I missed again. Missed by 1 pixel. All right. So now we got a rough shape in on there. I do love Stardew. 2 streams in a day. Yeah, although this one is not a gaming stream, so, you know, you get to see a different life of Bear here. What is my dog barking at? Does anybody know what my lovely pooch is barking at? Here's my problem. This arm is too far out. Because think about like how long this arm is. So what we can do is we will grab it and we'll just move it over. Where do I want this arm? So if you think about the corner of a chair, it would probably come roughly here, I would say. My kids are good. They're sitting in like a little kiddie swimming pool looking thing outside. So they're just chilling. Let's zoom in on this and fix this. Ugh, damn it. There we go. Are you just using a mouse? No, I have a drawing pen, and I have like, I can't pull it up, but it's like, where's the camera? It's like this big, the drawing tablet. It's a pretty basic one. It's nothing particularly crazy, but like, it's more than enough for what I need, which is kind of nice. All right, let's re-steal my lines again. Maybe actually steal them where I need them. Grab this. Let's bring it over here. I'm just going to clean it now so I don't have to deal with it in a second. There we go. So now you guys can, you know, stop telling me I have AI slop on my channel. Because a lot of my art on the channel right now is AI. Not all of it, but some of it. Like, I'll eventually redesign the whole bear sitting on the arcade machine to be something slightly different. There we go. That makes much more sense as a line. And then we need to draw this down. Oh my God. And then I just like totally covered it up again. Boop, boop, boop. Doggo. Yeah, my dog's like going crazy out there. All right, how's this chair looking? Are we getting there? We're getting there. This is missing a pixel right there, which matters because when I go into like bucket filling, it'll like screw up the whole paint, the whole picture. Wait a second. You wait a second. I'm just playing. What's up? It's like I need this to extend out, so I'll do that in a second. Like I said, I'm trying to make like an old school grandma's chair here. I almost want to pull this. I don't know. I don't know if I want to pull that line in yet. But like if I were to like start actually putting color in this, like you can start kind of seeing the makings of what a chair would look like. Do you see, like if you kind of block that out in your head for a second there, you can see like the arms taking shape, the back taking shape. As long as the uploads are consistent, AI is understandable. Yeah. Yeah. So like the main channel design was AI. Yeah. But see, like I want to have like, picture like the head of the bear here, you know, the body, and then just like a cute couple feet right there. And he's going to be holding like a Nintendo Switch type console. That's what I'm going for in this one. And so like if his knees, and think about like, if you think about bear anatomy and how like their actual legs form, it wouldn't make sense for them to be sitting like exactly like a human. Like the proportions would be weird. Yeah, my voice is all AI. I still get a kick out of that. I'm like, I can't believe you, like someone would think that my poorly acted Dionysus video was AI. Oh, damn it. I'm on the wrong color. That's okay. I can fix that. All right, so let's remake that line black. There we go. So see how it like rounds out more now? And again, we just want to use the same style lines because that's how perspective works. So if I steal this one again, that should be right. Clean this out. Okay, so let's start connecting lines and see what happens. Oh, I'm not thinking about bare anatomy right now. You're the best. You crack me up. All right, I need to re-extend this line down at a slant by like 2 pixels. There we go. And that means what's for a chair? At some point, this has to come over, which actually should have been more with this meets, so that's a bit of a problem. So then this needs to go back more, is what it is. My line perspective is slightly off. It'd be more like this. And I missed a pixel. As always, I missed a pixel, because that's what pixel art is. It's missing pixels constantly. Yeah, I think there would make more sense. All right, let's clean all this other stuff up. Facts. I'm not thinking about yeah. I am AI. You guys are seeing life AI in motion right now. All right, so this line doesn't make sense anymore. Ah, and I missed. Needs to come up just a little bit. There we go. And then this one, same thing. This one should be connecting to this line right there. You guys didn't know you were coming to art class today, did you? There we go. And then that needs to go away. And I need to rebridge this line because this got all screwed up. Let me zoom in. Should I just remake that whole line? I should just remake that whole line. My bare life has been a lie. This is called Asprite. It's spelled Aseprite. It's probably the most used Sprite program. Right there. There it is, and then we need to clean this up. Do you do any sprite work? Or art, for that matter? Oh, what was the other art stream that you watched? All right, so now this needs to... Oh, let me think about how this would work. Let me also fix this pixel. So this should be on the same kind of angle as the pillow would have been. Ah, I missed. Hang on one second. I've got to check what that just was a second ago. I think my wife might have just gotten home. Let's call this one bear chair. I'll be right back. Nope, it's just kids running around the house, dragging water through everything. All right, so I think for a rough style, this isn't bad. So I think the next thing that I want to do is get the shading. And so if I'm going to have a light source here, it means everything on the inner side is going to be dark. Everything on the outside will be light. And then there's always like a midtone somewhere. So let me think about that. And then I'll add detail work later. So like this ridge here will have like a lighter tone. Let me see where. So yeah, I'm going to put the light source here, I think. You only play 4 gacha games? Jesus. What 4 games are you playing, Teb? Sorry if you've already told me. Oh, you know what? This thing doesn't have any legs on it. I kind of need to put legs on a chair. What kind of legs do I want on the bottom of a lazy boy? I think my couch has like little triangle-ish looking ones. So let's do... No, that won't give me the right angle. Let's do... How about... I zoom in. Oh, who's texting me? I'm not that popular. Okay. So let's come in like a little point, and this is going to be a simple shape because it's like this. Okay, and then we'll have another one. How far back should I go with the feet? I actually don't like where that's at. You know, we'll just redo it. We'll just redo it. It's fine. It's fine, people. It's fine. Dokkan, PS5, Limbus. How is Bleach Brave Souls? I love Bleach. That's one of my favorite mangas / animes. Is the game worth playing at all? I don't think it ranks high in like the revenue charts, but that's not always like a deterrent for me. And then you would have a straight line in the middle to designate your separation. And then we can flip this line. Oops. Oops, nope. I just totally messed up my screen. Hold on. There we go. All right, now I need this. We'll get a little flippy flip. Probably about there would be the right perspective. And then we need to draw a line and then clean this up a little bit. Be more like that. And then another one to go here. Okay, now let's get some cleaning on edges. I don't like that line. I don't like that line either. This whole line needs to go away. I don't like this line at all. Let's redo that line. It's really new player friendly. That's good. I hate when you like feel like you need a whole thesaurus just to press start on one of those games. That's always a irritant to me. All right, how did that do? That's not a bad foot. I'll take that one. And then I could just copy it for my other ones. So now let's grab this. You can all tell everybody I cheat by copying my line work. Next time we're on like a Persona stream. Boom. Boom. There's a foot, and then through the magic of everything, we would bring this in. Actually, no, I want to copy that first. And then we can clean this up. Okay. We're making art, people. We're getting there. We almost got a chair. Oh my God. Selected too many things. And then this one would offset higher. The big thing with Aseprite, if you end up getting it, is learn to remap your stuff. Because like I'm not using a mouse. Like everything I'm doing is on keyboard commands right now. So it makes life so much simpler when I don't have to think about like clicking too many tools. Like I click a couple up here. All right. See, now that's more grounded. So what we need to do is get ourselves a base color. So do you guys know what hue shifting is? What color do I want this chair to be? We can go brown, but I'm a brown bear, so that would be very complementary. Or I can go with a different color, like a purple, because that's kind of channel branding. Choices. We can also just try different colors. So let's pick a purple. And let's pick a neutral purple. We're going to get like Prince from the 80s velvet kind of colors going on here. So let's do that. We'll save that color. So hue shifting, let me take my face off. Hue shifting, a pale yellow actually could be really good, is where if things go darker, you don't just go down. In the way that like actual shadowing works in real life is you will move more towards like your darker blues and purples as you gain shadow, and you'll move towards like greens as you gain light, like yellows and greens. And so what you actually want to do when you hue shift is move slightly over and then move slightly down. And so that is actually a darker purple that works the way hue shifting works. And then if I come back up here, if I want to go lighter, I'd actually move the opposite direction. And I'd move up. And now I've properly hue shifted. You can do more diagonal. It depends on how dramatic you want it to be. And so our mid-tone here, this will become the start of our base. And like we'll simplify the colors for a second here. So that would be, and the thing about Aseprite is I can pick a whole nother color palette and then just switch out my colors. But once I've got it like designed, it's super easy to do that. And so our darkest colors will be over here away from us, because we're, getting away from the light source. And I'll need to do some like custom shading into like certain pixels. But right now we're just trying to like get into the way that shadowing works. And like, so like half of this should theoretically be shaded. And then our lightest tones are going to be closest to the light sources. So it'd be like this right here. And then like, if you picture like a triangle kind of coming down like this, like that would be a lighter source. I mean, technically most of that would be lighter. And so now you can see like how hue shifting would like shift the way the light comes in. So again, if the light is coming from like over here, so like picture either a furnace, like a wood furnace, or a fireplace right here. And so the light's casting this way. And so you wouldn't have bright lights over here outside of like highlight views or hues. I don't know. I was debating if it's going to be purple, because if I had a bear sitting here, The problem with purple is it's a cool color. And if you think about when you feel coziest, it's more in like yellows and reds, like more of that spectrum, like earthy tones. And so I don't know that purple's really working here for me. But someone mentioned like a yellow. So like, let's think about a yellow for a second here. So we can go into like a more burnt amber like this. So if we think about this being, maybe this will be our midtone here. And so again, now if I move a little bit forward into the reds, which is making you go towards purples, that would be a darker hue, although that's not dark enough actually. There we go. Actually that midtone's not bad. I will just lighten this one up. We'll bring this a little bit closer to yellow. Yeah, so that's not bad. So now what I can do is in Aseprite, you got this cool feature where I can just replace my colors. So I can say replace my darkest color to that darkest color. And it should have, and it didn't. Come on. Gotta love it when it doesn't actually do what it's supposed to do. All right. Do I do it backwards? Is that what I did? So I want my dark purple to become my dark brown. I don't know if did I grab the wrong one, or is that just not dark enough? That might not be dark enough. That's okay, we can darken it. So apply that one, and then we'll go with our midtone, and then make that the midtone. And then we'll go with our light tone and make it our light tone. So that's like a more orangey type. Yeah, and that's the problem is like right now this is still, because I know what color brown is in my head, and this is still not it. You're not strong enough to handle a purple couch. I had a bright red couch for a long time. I'm trying to think of what would complement brown better right now. Because like here's what I'll do. So let me start a new layer. Oh, let me get out of there. No. Why is it not working for me? Give me my layer selector, this son of a bitch. Okay, so layer 1 is the chair. Let me type this in. So layer 2 is going to be the bear. And so now if I just take a circle just to show you like the colors, because this might help understand too. So like his head is going to be roughly here. And then if I grab like a brown bear, like that's what we're working with. That's the darkest color of the bear. And then if I go in on another circle here, it's not going to like me doing this way. Let's go like this, and then let's just use their lighter color. Oops. Not like that. So like picture this as the head of the bear, right? And so the chair needs to work with that. And so like if I turn this layer off, like the chair just looks very cartoony. It doesn't feel very cozy to me. It's not too far off. And the way that you blend this in, you have to make one of two choices. You either go super contrasty, which is what purple would do, or you go with a similar color, but with a different saturation or a different hue, one or both. And that way you almost forget the chair's there. And then what I can do is I can put like a throw blanket or a pillow behind them that's like a splash of color. Like I might put a purple pillow right here, or a purple, like if you think about your grandma's couch and she had like the blanket that hangs over it, like a purple blanket. Like, so then you get your color pop to separate the two landscapes. Agree with you, Jason. Not sure what goes with brown. So there's a few different ways to think about color. So you have, think of like a color triangle of RGB. So everything that is across from one another in that color spectrum is contrasting. So they always work together. So like purple and green sit opposite from each other. And so purple and green work well together. Orange and purple can work well together. Purple and yellow, like that kind of gambit. And then you have what's next to each other. And next to each other is less contrast and it more blends. So like if I switch back to my chair layer, so check this out, because watch, this will blend a lot better if I do it this way. So now if I take this color, my dark color, and I make it, I don't have a dark enough brown here. I'll go with that. And then I'll take my lightest and I'll make it this. And then I'll take my mid-tone and I'll make it this. Like, look at how much better that blends, because it's still like in the same realm. But now the only thing I can do here, so like if I add another layer, oops, not a whole nother project. So if I add another layer, so this would sit behind the bear. And we can call this, let's do a blanket. So now what I could do is draw, I can take, let me take the chair. I'll take this section of it, bring it over to the blanket section, paste it, and then make it purple. Although I probably just totally am going to color the whole screen. Watch. Oh, no. So like now if you, hold on one second, guys. All right, so yeah, so like if you look at this and just pretend that it's like fully behind them. Oh, geez, not that. Oh my God, no. So like think of that as a throw. So like you can use stuff like this to break apart the colors. Now, obviously this is not the shape I would use, but this is how you can kind of separate it out while still keeping like, this is like a very cream colored kind of sectional or whatever. Complementary warm colors with brown are kind of tough. Maybe go for mustardy. Yeah, mustard works well with these kinds of colors. Red's not bad. Burgundy would be better. Yeah. A placeholder for the fire. Yeah, so like if I were to throw a fire in here, so it wouldn't be a square, so keep in mind it would be like shifted. So let me do it this way. I wouldn't shift it this way just because it doesn't work so well in Aseprite to do it this way. But I can like think of perspective, like think of it like that. And so then if this was like fire, this is the wrong color, but oh, that's terrible. Like think of like your fireplace being in this general range. And so it's casting the light out. So that's why like this part of his face is lit. The front of the chair would catch light, but then this would have less. It would still catch light reflecting. This would actually be slightly darker. Yeah. So that's why. So like now that you see like a light source, you can kind of see like why it's casting the way that it does. But it's not perfect. Like right down here, this whole section should be darker. And I'll probably add a fourth tone. You don't want to overcomplicate it and get like 15 tones, but like this tone here would actually be underneath here because of the way like light casts. More creamy yellow. Yeah. So if I did a more creamy yellow, if I come down to my color picker here, so that would be less saturated is what would drive that. But yeah, see, it's tough because if you want it to be cozy, there's two things you have to think about. One is it can't get too far into your blues. Otherwise, it just gives off a different emotion. And then two is whatever color the fire is, the way that light works is some of this will absorb some of that color. And so, if you think of a traditional fire being like that orange and kind of reddish color, then having this have a little bit of an orangey red is actually a good thing. And so we probably want to edge a little bit closer to the orange on this one. We can stay cream, but it would probably be for a lighter tone. I'm not in love with that color. Maybe maybe we try more of a red. Let me think about this. So if I move closer to red, it'll pull the fire color in better. So we'll pick that. And then we want to get, that's probably our lightest color. And so then if I go a little bit darker for a mid-tone, I would think kind of in this realm. And then if I want to get really into the dark, it would be like this. So let's try that. So now if I go back to the chair and yeah, oops, off by a pixel as always with frickin' this stuff. Okay, so we'll go here. So let's take this and move this into our darker. We'll take this and go into our mid-tone. And we'll take that and go into our light. And then I want to get rid of this blanket. Hold on. Oops. Blanket needs to go. So that's what happens if you bring it to like a more of a red shade. Still not my favorite. But this is what I like. Do you see how easy it is in Aseprite to sit there and play with your color palettes? Like it's really not bad at all. I still think it needs to be more orange. And maybe that's just because I have a big giant orange square on the page right now. And so that's obviously going to influence a little bit here. I got about 15 minutes and I got to go cook dinner. Do you guys like this kind of stuff? Like I'm not getting, 200 viewers like I do on Persona, but I don't mind messing around showing you guys this kind of fun side of me. And like we'll cast shadows. Like there'll be shadows cast from the bear over here. Like there's things that'll make this feel a lot differently, but this base color has to get done right. You like this better, to be honest? It's not as stressful as Persona. The more I look at this, I don't hate this color. I do think it's not orange enough. But you know what I can do? Like if I think about an actual fire, what layer did I do that fire on? It's not on the bear layer. It's on the blanket layer. Okay. Like if let me see. How do I want to do this? Here's what we're going to do. I got an idea. Let's make a quick, really terrible looking fire. Fair? So let's grab, so fire is brighter a lot of the times on the inside. So let's make a shape. So it'd probably be like here-ish. So something like that. And then we would want to grab orange. Yeah. That's terrible. I want to redo that. I need a smaller brush. Let's go back to yellow. And let's actually bring it down a little bit. It's so hard to do the color picker on this program sometimes. There we go. That's a little bit better. So we would have like your base fire there. And then you would have, you know, your different sprouts coming up. And there'd be like logs and stuff. I'm not going to do the logs right now. And then you would have like an orange color coming off of this as you move away from the bottom of the light source. So this would kind of come out like this. I need to get in closer. So we'd have something like that. It'll be in this area. I am going to have a fireplace here. Free lessons in hue shifting and color theory. There you go. And then what I need to do is grab kind of a mid between those to blend it out. That's not the right color. That's ugly. Get brighter. There we go. And I probably want some of it to come under. Okay, now what we can do is, where's the option? I need, God, what is it called in this? It is color range. Yes, okay. I want to blend this out, so that's what I'm trying to look for. It is shading. Oh, I didn't select my colors. Hold on. Let's add you. Let's add you. Let's add you. And then if we go into shading, we go like this, and then something like that. And then your whitest spot will be here. You just add a little, nope, that's ugly. Get back over there. Just want a little bit. And so then if we add, just for the heck of it, let's add just a couple like, you know, like rocky looking things at the bottom. Okay, so now we have the start of a fire. Do you see what I mean? It's obvious this is not the final fire. I will go make it a real fire that looks halfway decent later. But just to give you the idea of like how it interacts with the scene. And then if you were to take, let's see, let's do we need another layer here actually to do this. And this layer needs to be behind the blanket layer. And so now if I were to take this rectangle shape to contain this, and we make it, I don't know, like a softer brown. I don't like that at all. Probably more like a softer gray. Nope. Still don't like it. Nope. See, it needs a, this is things I have to think about all the colors in the entire picture on this. And it's going to have like some colors tied to each other, but that's ugly. I want this to be more brown. Where's the brown that I want? I'm just going to use that for a second, but it really would actually, no, it would actually be more orange when I think about it. And then we can take that darker. I just want to get like a frame in here. So like you're going to have the light casting out of that area. This is pretty fire. So this is cast. Now you can kind of see how the light gets cast. And like you would have like a fireplace. Like I'm not going to make the whole scene because this is going to be on a, what's it called? A thumbnail. And so like if you think about this as a YouTube thumbnail, this real estate here is all whatever game I'm playing. Up here will be like, typically speaking, like, Bear's Cozy Corner or whatever I end up calling this segment, because this is going to be mostly for live streaming. And so there's going to be like a natural curve here to where there's a little bit of background. And then you have like the little fireplace here. And then somewhere I need to put a cup of tea. We got to have some tea up in this. And the only thing that makes a lot of sense in this view is I should probably put something green, like a plant, because there's something about bringing earth tones into something that makes it feel more grounded, more earth-like. And so, maybe, I don't know where, like maybe there's a plant right here, or maybe like on a table, there's like a flower. I haven't decided yet. And then, like I said, I'll be, having the bear sitting here, playing what looks like basically a Nintendo Switch, some sort of a handheld console, because I want you to look at this picture and think to yourself, oh, that looks chill vibe as hell. That's what you're looking at. So all of this space is to map out a thumbnail. And then this part is that asset that I put on top of every thumbnail. Does that make sense? Like what I'm trying to get at there, and why I'm not designing like a whole giant picture? And what about 3DS? I could do a 3DS. Yeah, I want like some sort of like a handheld console, because I'll tell you guys, one of my favorite things to do, and I almost did this as the view, but then I don't think as many people would resonate with this, is I like to sit outside. I have like a propane fire pit. I like to sit outside in front of the fire pit and just play my Switch. And like usually my daughter will sit right next to me and she'll draw, because she loves drawing too. She actually animated a bear holding an otter, because she loves otters, for Father's Day. Like she has her own drawing programs, and she like animated for me. It like melted my heart. But like she'll sit next to me. My son will be a maniac running around. And so we'll chill like that. And, I just like hanging, like just chilling with a handheld. And yeah, it used to be 3DS. It was a Vita at one point. Now I've got my Switch too. Yeah, the text has to be the attention grabber. So like I don't like doing the like all those faces on my freaking thumbnails. And so for me, my branding is the bears, right? And so I like to have my bear in the bottom right corner. And so that anytime you see a thumbnail, you see a bear and you're like, oh, 16-bit bear. And, he can be in different scenes. It doesn't always have to be sitting there playing with an arcade machine. But like this is like if you saw Mr. Beast's face, it's Mr. Beast. Eventually I want people to be like, oh, I see the bear, it's 16-bit bear. And that's why it's deliberately always in this corner. It's always facing left, and it's always about this much space taken up. So it's actually incredibly deliberate, the way that I think about how I brand this kind of stuff. And then, yeah, like your text is an attention grabber, and you kind of want to go from a visual hierarchy standpoint for 3 elements. And so, element 1 is the text, element 2 is the background picture, and element 3 is going to be, your branding. So that's how I design like my thought process on thumbnails. The hands on face, cheeks, mouth wide open. Yeah. Can you believe this cozy game? I grew a turnip. Like, yeah, that's not going to work. That's not me. I mean, maybe it should be me. Maybe I'd get like 10 bajillion more, subscribers, and I'd be, million subscribers if I like made the stupidest faces on my thumbnails. What's funny is you can actually do A/B testing on your thumbnails in YouTube. So I can make multiple thumbnails and it will tell me which ones get more clicks. So maybe I should do that. Like start like having 2 and have one be the absolutely atrocious, whatever, like super exaggerated face, like looking at something obnoxious, like something inappropriate, and see if I get more clicks that way. And I shouldn't, like, I'm not knocking other YouTubers, but you guys know me. Like my style is, I'm an older dude. I'm an older dude, dad gamer, retro gamer at that. And I am far too chill to be that extreme. What's funny though, so you guys saw my wife pop in chat a couple streams ago. She has a YouTube channel, so that if you would have clicked on her name, you would have gone to her YouTube channel. She's got like 17,000 subscribers, but she's not really active on YouTube right now. And a lot of her thumbnails are just that. It's like her going, you know, like all that stuff, but it works for her audience, right? And it's more of her personality than it is for me. The what the hell face for sure. Yeah, the big eyebrow raise. I don't know where I developed that skill, but yeah. All right, friends. I got to save and go. I got to go cook dinner. I'm going to make some salmon on the grill with some grilled veggies and rice. And that's going to be our dessert, or not our dessert, Jesus, our dinner for tonight. But yeah, thanks for hanging. Thanks for chilling. I know this isn't going to like garner a million people in stream. That's fine. As long as it doesn't somehow destroy my YouTube channel, I don't really care. But if you want to see me do more of this actual like legit design work, and you guys can see like real bare artwork from the beginning, not just my like 5-minute sketches I do from here and there, then let me know and I'll pop in. Sundays is like my drawing day. So this is when I tend to get like my drawing work done for the other game and everything. But yeah, all right, friends. I'll see you later.